Hey guys, I want to talk to you today a little bit about one of my favorite times of the year. It's when summer's coming to an end, the water temperatures are just starting to cool down, and the fish start getting up on these flats, especially the ones with like isolated cover. There's a few key baits I really like this time of year. Square bill's real good. Something like a jig to pitch at isolated targets. I really like that too, especially lakes like the Tennessee River, Kentucky Lake, Gunnersville, places that have an abundance of, shad. It's nice to show them something else. A spinnerbait though can be really awesome. We did a little bit of that today. Caught some fish on a spinnerbait. Caught a pretty nice one on a square bill. But and then a frog if you've got some matted vegetation, which happens a lot in the end of the summer, early fall. That's some of the key baits you can use. We'll show you some more of that in detail here. I really like a spinnerbait. That's one of the baits I start with in the fall. That seems to mimic little pods of shad that you'll see swimming around, glass minnows, pin minnows, things like that you see getting on those shallow flats. The square bill can be really effective. I like the square bill because I really look for fish to get up in some real shallow areas, and I'm trying to target isolated stumps, big rocks, brush piles, things like that. And then the jig and the frog are nice also if you've got matted vegetation, or if your water's a little bit deeper where you're finding the bass schooling. But this time of the year, there's two kind of thoughts. You've got areas that might have numbers, have schooling fish, and then you've got other areas that have real isolated targets that you can catch big fish on. And I kind of break my areas up that way. You spend a lot of time roaming areas to find real key sections. Maybe there's 3 or 4 stumps grouped together. Maybe there's a brush pile right on a break. Maybe there's a patch of grass off by itself. I like those kind of places this time of year when you're just starting to get into fall. The water's just starting to cool. They're coming up out of their deep water, and they just get up there for small periods, get around those isolated targets and feed. And these handful of baits are the ones that I found to be real effective. There's one, a pretty good one. Don't you do it. Oh, come here. Stay down, stay down, stay down. Don't you do it. Hey, no. There you go. That's what we like in late summer, fall transition. It's fish getting up on the flats, feeding around a little bit. A lot of these areas, they may not have a lot of fish, but you can usually find some good ones if you can find some isolated pieces of cover on them like that. Nice. Thank you, buddy.
Some of the first spinner baits that I ever threw growing up in Michigan had painted blades on them. The new Strke King Tour Grade painted blade spinner baits, they have that supernatural look. I mean, when you look at the sexy shad color going through the water, it looks like a school of sexy shad.
It's not just a white blade, it's not just a chartreuse blade. It's got the natural bait fish look.
When we say Tour Grade, when you pull it out of the package, it's ready to go. It's got every possible component at its very top-notch best.